baby Blaine comes in and he starts doing his few tricks. And you know what he said to me? He said, thought, what a lovely little job that was. Another little room to do tomorrow, a little touch smaller actually, so that shouldn't take too long. And that'll be a lovely little Friday finished off then. While the other bloke was working there, we were just talking about firms we'd worked on in the past, and you know, like you do, you tell each other your old stories and things like that. And one particular company I used to work on, I've mentioned it before, we used to do quite a lot of railway work. Also within our contract, we used to do a lot of work for Camden Council, so I was always around Camden town a lot. And it was quite nice because we had dispensations for the van, so any yellow line in Camden we could park in, so it was great if you wanted to do a bit of shopping or pop down there at the weekend. You just stick the van on the side of the road and off you pop. But based in Camden then on Euston Road was Capital Radio. We used to have the big tall building, I think it was called the Euston Tower, and also within Capital Radio was XFM, which I think now is called Radio X, but back then it was just called XFM. And it was quite a small station really when it first started. It was a really good station if you was into your music, you know, into your alternative stuff. I think it's a bit more sort of commercial now, but back then it was really a good station if you was into your music. And if they had a competition and you rung up, you generally would get straight through, and that's just how that station was. I won a few competitions on there. Excuse me. I think I won a mobile phone on there. I won a pogo stick. I think it was called an Ergo. I won a pogo stick on there. And I think also won tickets for a night out for, I think it was the awards ceremony for Face magazine, which I never ended up going to because traffic was horrendous. And the DJ in the morning then was Christian O'Connell, if any of you know who he is. I don't know where he is now, I don't know what he does, probably still on the radio somewhere. But they was having David Blaine, the magician, was coming in to do some tricks the following day, and they said, if any of you want to come in and meet David Blaine, give us a ring. So I did, I rung up, got straight through, took my details and said, yeah, come in tomorrow morning at whatever time it was and meet David Blaine. So that's what I did, because I was always working nearby. Went in there, went into reception of Capital Radio, got ushered upstairs into the radio studio, and it was me and about 4 or 5 other people. And the 4 or 5 other people that were in there, they were all real Camden types, you know. They obviously had office jobs and they just spoke better than I did. And I think at the time I had a couple of gold hooped earrings in, and I was a bit of a, you know, a bit of a worker, a bit of a chav. And Christian O'Connell dipped me out for that because he obviously, you know, he's a DJ. I think he's a bit of a comedian as well. And he sort of dipped me out for being the plasterer, cockney sort of geezer. And yeah, it was funny really. I can't remember what he said now, but we had a little bit of a laugh in there. Anyway, David Blaine comes in and he starts doing these few tricks, and he done a great one on Christian O'Connell. He did that trick where he made Christian O'Connell write his name or his wife's name down on a playing card and put it back in the pack. And God knows how he did this, but he mucked about with the cards. I can't remember exactly what he did. And then he said to Christian O'Connell, what's in your top pocket? And Christian O'Connell was sitting on the other side of the desk all this time. God knows how he did it. And anyway, he ends up pulling the card out, and it's that same card. But I thought it definitely went back in the pack. Because it's David Blaine doing the tricks, you are watching him like a hawk. You know, any excuse to maybe catch him out or see how he does things. And anyway, did a few card tricks on other people, and then it come to my turn. And this was all live on the radio. And what David Blaine did, he gave me two kings to hold. He said, hold these 2 kings in your thumb and forefinger, which I did. And because it's David Blaine, I'm squeezing the death out, you know, because I'm thinking I'd love to catch you out live on the radio. And then he got an ace out, and he said, I'm going to slip this ace in between the 2 kings. Which he did, and he did it very gently. He just put this ace in between the 2 kings that I was squeezing to death. And he said to me, now what are you holding in your hand? What cards have you got? Of course I had to hold them with a picture side down. And he said, what cards have you got in your hands now? So I said, well, still the 2 kings and whatever cards you've just put in between them. So he said, do you want to have a look? And I turned the cards over, and it was aces. He'd swapped my kings for aces, and I tell you what, I have no idea how he did that. no idea. I was, not only was I squeezing my thumb and forefinger as tightly as I could, I was watching like a hawk. I was really, really looking. And to this day, it baffles me how, A, I didn't feel any cards getting swapped over if he did indeed swap them over, or how them cards changed from kings to aces. Were they magic? No, not magic, but you know what I mean? Were they like cards that did something else when you touched them with something else? I've no idea. They just look like proper playing cards to me, because obviously I examined them. So, I mean, that was quite a good experience. You do pick up these little things as you travel, especially working in and around London. You do see some different things, and you know, you do get a chance to work on some quite interesting places as well, really. But then, funny enough, when the records come on and there was a little bit of break, I said to David Blaine, he's quite a big fella, quite tall, you know, mysterious looking. He had that aura about him. He definitely had something about him which was a little bit mysterious. He was quite a, you know, a handsome, big, tall fella. And while the record was on, I said to him, David, would you do a trick for me with a couple of coins in my pocket? Because I thought, well, that way, if he's using coins from my pocket, I know that they're real coins. You know what he said to me? He said, I'm sorry, I don't do coin tricks. And I just thought, you fucking liar. I've seen you do coin tricks, but they're probably not your magic coins, so that's why you won't do them. But anyway, that was, yeah, it was just a memory spark from talking about old jobs we used to work on. But anyway, that's enough waffle from me. I don't know if that would be, it was never filmed back then, so it wouldn't be anywhere. I don't suppose you could get that footage or that audio anywhere. If anyone knows where you can get that, I'd love to hear it again. But anyway, that's enough from me. I doubt very much I'll be filming tomorrow's job, because it's just really a mirror image of today's job, and I couldn't do too much filming in there because I'm working with my bloke I know, Richard, and we're chatting away, so you know, I can't really film doing that. But anyway, I might show you before and after. But if not, have a good evening, everybody. And it's Friday tomorrow, so I probably won't be back on your screens until Monday afternoon. We've got a fairly decent job to start Monday, plastering. Some quite big work, well, bigger job than that anyway. So I will see you all then. Thanks for any subscribers that I've picked up. And I tell you what, I am 6 subscribers away from hitting 1,000, which is the golden margin that we all want. If 6 of you can find it in your hearts to push that subscribe button, you're going to do me a massive favour. And I will thank you all in the next video if that happens. I'll see if any of you subscribe. But yeah, I'm just looking for 6 more volunteers to subscribe. Anyway, take care everybody, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you soon.